welcome back to Tech Ascent. Today we have a great guest to join us. We're joined by Jordan Gray, the co-founder and CMO at PublicAI. And if you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Oliver Clingain, and I'm the founder of Ascension. But Jordan, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having us on. Real pleasure. Good to see you, Oliver. We've been bouncing around on this for a couple of weeks, so it's good to finally be in the session.
Yeah, we locked down a time, but yeah, right back at you. It's a pleasure to have you on. It's a pleasure to connect. Would you mind starting us off telling the audience a little bit about yourself and what you guys do at Public AI?
Yeah, so Public AI is based on the vision of ensuring that there is value in human contributions as the nature of work changes, as people see job displacement with AI and things like that. We want to ensure that there's a place for humans to come and contribute and get rewarded for their efforts. So that's the vision behind what we do, and then kind of tangibly what that looks like in practice is clients come to us when they're looking for real human data to make smarter AIs, to make their AI better for production use cases. And then on the other side of that, it's a kind of a marketplace where we have over 3.5 million contributors around the globe who, when those clients come and bring tasks to our platform, can then come and upload videos, upload audio, upload text or images, things like that, and then get paid for it. So it's kind of taking the Web 2 world where data was scraped from people without permission or with like some shrink wrap and people didn't really think about it or think about the value of their data and exposing to people the fact that, hey, data is valuable and here's where you can show up and contribute in a meaningful way and be part of this like work revolution that's happening. So more than a few words on what exactly Public AI is up to, but like that's the long and short of it. And then myself, I've been in the space, like the marketing space for over 20 years now, having worked at like the different Omnicom companies, so doing like Fortune 500 digital activations for those companies, and then since then worked at Google for a bit, and then got into the Web3 space and was at Near Foundation, and have been focused on like startups since then. So this is the latest and greatest.
Yeah, very cool. And with the latest and greatest, what gap in the market did you see that made you and your team want to found this mission?
Yeah, so my co-founder, Dr. Stephen Wong, was actually like working on his PhD thesis around applied machine learning and was like hungry for real data to help train the models better. And this was about 3 years ago that he was like experiencing that pain firsthand. And with that, he had the idea of like, hey, why don't we try decentralization for sourcing this data that we need? And did find some success with that and wound up after doing some data sourcing from communities in a decentralized way, selling data sets to Adobe and Luma AI, which I mean, Luma AI is still going strong. They just got that like 900,000 injection of funding from the Saudi prince. So it's cool to have been part of that journey. So after selling those initial data sets, he decided to double down on the company as an approach to how to source real data, going directly to people and communities rather than having like layers of data brokers in the middle, which gives clients better prices on the specific data they're after, and also gives people who are contributing a a bigger share of the pie so that they're not getting like a couple cents when they show up every day, but instead are earning like dollars every day.
Hmm. Hmm. And I'll be pretty direct here. How do you market something so technical being the CMO? Obviously, a very, very tech heavy background. Getting something like this to the point where it's at, I'm sure there was some trials and tribulations you found early days. How's that journey been for you?
Yeah, yeah. So we basically have two demographics. We've got our supply side demographic, which is the people who come and contribute. And then we have on the other side kind of more of the like client side or like the more technical demographic of people who are consuming this data and have an idea of what data they're after. Um, and one thing that we've found that works across both of those demographics is humor. Like when you're talking to technical people, they are like allergic to marketing. Like they see any kind of marketing message and they're just so skeptical and they don't want to touch it. So what we try and do with like all of our marketing is have a sense of human like touch to it. Like even if it means like self-deprecating humor or some kind of angle on it that makes it relatable and not just a straight up marketing message. So that's what we try and do across like both demographic swaths is like make it so that people who are not necessarily technical can come and contribute and understand how to do that. Then on the technical side, where they don't just like turn away from it immediately because it's like, hey, plug in your API here and like it'll be great. Like that doesn't
Mhm.
work. Like, yeah. So that's what we found is like humor and human touch is the key to marketing across all of our demographics as varied as they are.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I'm sure it's a very fine line to walk when you're in this space.
Yeah, also trying to keep it professional, but keeping the humor like, yeah, just on that line where it's funny enough.
Right. And did I hear you correctly? You said 3.5 million, was it users?
Yeah, yeah. So on the supply side, we have over 3.5 million registered accounts on our system, and to give you an idea of scale of like month to month what that looks like, we probably have about 500,000 like monthly active contributors. And we tend to get campaigns out like every 2 to 4 weeks. We have new campaigns launching on the platform. And to get quality data for a client, we probably need between like 10 and 100,000 like demographically accurate contributors to improve a model is kind of what we've found. So um, when we look at like weekly actives with the different campaigns that are going, it's probably more like 100,000 active users on a weekly basis, and then over a month with the different campaigns we have running, it's like 500,000, and then yeah, total accounts, which with a 3.5 million person network, we're really playing that like 7 degrees to Kevin Bacon game of like, okay, this client wants pet data. Who in that swath of people actually knows about pets? Who
Hmm.
needs luxury good? Like the client comes to us needing luxury good differentiation on if a product is real or not based on photos of it. Who in that network actually knows about luxury goods and can like do those kinds of judgments? So um, it's a big enough network to have a good amount of expertise in it. And then as clients come in with different needs, we're also always expanding the network. So happy to bring in more people to the human layer of AI and grow the family.
Hmm. Nice. And as you were scaling up to that 3.5 million, how did you say get your first 10,000 or your first 100,000? What did that process look like getting things off the ground? What sort of strategies did you roll out?
Yeah, so huge growth hack on our side was being plugged into crypto. We, from the start, were doing USDC payments for contributing to tasks on our platform, which like was allowed us to spread like wildfire in the community that's plugged into Web3 and crypto and accepts those kind of payments. So that was really the growth hack for us was having a point system in place and then having a way for that to convert to USDC for our users. Um, when I was joining the company, there was like less than 1 million total users. And in less than a year since I've joined, we exploded to that like 3.5 million. So the initial growth was really due to crypto. And for anybody that's looking to do growth hacking, even if you're not willing to like touch the crypto side of things because it has all kinds of like um, you know, concerns and like things that keep people from touching it, at least have a point system in place and have a way of rewarding users and quantifying their alignment with your brand and rewarding them for showing up. Like, if you don't have a number that they can watch go up, then it's really hard to communicate to them how much you see the value in their participation in your ecosystem. So, like, short of crypto, I always encourage people to at least try out point systems for finding ways of like aligning their communities with like whatever activities or activations they want to see like pop off.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. And Obviously you've rolled it out at Public AI. Have you seen success with it anywhere else, or even people in your network? Do you have any other examples of different strategies people can roll it out with, maybe without the crypto side of things?
Yeah, so point systems are great because it gives you the flexibility of testing things out in a centralized way. If you're like committing to crypto off the bat, which is not something I would recommend to anybody to do, everything is on chain. You can't roll it back. You can't experiment as quickly. So doing point systems is like definitely the more advised way to go. And what that means is that as people accumulate points, you can kind of get feedback from them on what rewards would be meaningful to them. So maybe it's swag. Maybe your top 10 or top 100 point earners all want like a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or something like that, like some exclusive gear. And then that can also roll into like a future like social campaign where, if they wear it or tag it, then there's like more legs on that. So definitely just start with points, centralized database. Like from the Web 2 world is kind of like the first this makes sense to do. Like that's how I would do it in the first place, like approach. Um, but gamification is not anything new. And a point system is the the source of truth for any gamification system when you can get the people in your organization to recognize that there are points and they're going out for different things, and you get people in your community to also recognize those points. Having that shared source of currency and value across internal and external stakeholders makes it all work and allows you to like iterate quickly. So that would be my advice to anybody that's looking at doing anything like this. Like just get your point system in place, have a value on it, and iterate from there.
Hmm. Yeah, I like it. And it's one of those ideas that I think, like you said, gamification isn't a new concept. Sometimes you see point systems and you don't even realize that's like a marketing tactic. So I think it's
Right.
super unique to hear about it in a space like this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
obviously, Jordan, AI has become a massive trend. It's the center of your company, especially in marketing in 2025. It's become a massive trend. As we gear up for 2026, how do you see kind of the marketing landscape changing in the next few months, in the next year or so?
It's wild. We're in such an accelerated like landscape. Um, so one of the things that a lot of marketers like reach for immediately is just like using GPT and large language models for text generation. But the thing is, as a human, when you get content back from an LLM, if you're looking at it and you're bored, or it makes your eyes gloss over, like there's no reason anybody else would ever want to read that. So that's the thing that I would like warn against in general is like um maintain your own voice in the marketing landscape. Like be vigilant about who your brand is, how it sounds, and how you want to show up, and use that as a litmus test for anything that you're using as far as like generative content goes. Like you have to have that core value if you're going to survive just like washes and waves of endless AI generated content, which is what we're up against now. And then the other thing is like as a creator, um like lean into being prolific. Be willing to take some experiments and make mistakes and do something kind of risky. As a human, showing that vulnerability, trying something new, going outside your comfort zone and doing something that is maybe a little off brand, as long as it's in a mindful way where you're like, okay, I recognize this is a little bit stretching the envelope of where we want to be, but I want to see how this lands. Like maybe it gives you a new direction. I would say like have that core tenet of what your brand is, how it sounds, and be willing as a human to like make educated experiments that push those boundaries, because without play it becomes boring and you're just like trying to fit yourself into this like brand tone
Hmm.
like playbook, which nobody wants to do 365 days a year. But if you have an an educated approach on how you push that brand and voice, then it becomes fun and playful, and suddenly you have a lot of experiments to try over those 365 days.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think that's the name of the game when you're a marketer is all about experimentation. Obviously, you take the foundational things that you know have worked in the past, but you've always got to be willing to try something new.
Yep, yep.
And Jordan, over the next, we'll call it just 2026 for the fun of it being where we're at. What's the goals for Public AI, but also what are some goals for yourself that you hope to accomplish?
Yeah, so one of the things we deal with, like we're still a relatively small startup, like we're under 20 people on our team, and one of the things that we struggle with a lot is like when we get the smaller and medium-sized businesses coming to us looking to do tasks to collect data, it's often very white glove, very hands-on, and like a lot of these companies are new to AI, and our expertise in applied machine learning like comes to the forefront, and we're able to help them figure out what data they need and like how to ask for it from a community. But that's something that we're looking to turn into more of like an automated process, maybe even agentic, where with our onboarding materials can help people kind of like align their thoughts and get it distilled down to a place where they could even self-service, like get tasks out to our community. So that's one of the big things we're looking at right now is the efficiency of our like our pipeline as far as like inbound, especially for the smaller and medium-sized businesses, which should be exciting for viewers that are tuning in because that means that it's even easier for everybody to go and get what data they need to be successful with applying AI to their businesses. So that's one of the things, like from a business perspective, we're really excited about. Um, Personally, like one of the things that we had was explosive growth within the crypto space, which allowed us to get to that 3.5 million contributors, like off like about a year's hard work. And what we're looking at next is how to expand that more into the Web 2 space. So bringing on like Web 2 payment platforms, coupons, like other ways of rewarding users that allows us to expand the human layer of AI beyond that initial growth stage to like every different demographic and area of expertise around the globe. On on yeah, just like exploding out of the crypto bubble is like where our next growth trajectory is. We've kind of like hit the wall for how far we can go inside of crypto. So um, that's what's next for us is like getting on more payment processors, our conversations with PayPal, et cetera, to bring on even more users and make this like earning opportunity accessible to even more people.
Yeah, very cool. And sounds like through this year and the year before, you've laid a very strong foundation for where you guys want to get to.
Absolutely. Yeah. Feeling good.
Yeah, and Jordan, for any marketers out there, especially in the tech startup space, if there was one piece of advice you'd give them to implement over the next, say, 30 days, what would that one thing be?
Post every day. Doesn't matter which platform you're doing it on. Um, Start like religiously post whatever your favorite platform is, do it on that. And what that forces you to do is discipline. One of the things about creativity is like people have this misconception that like creativity requires like a muse or a spark, but earnest, like honest to God, creativity is just like sitting down and doing the work. And it's a muscle that you train. So to any founder who's like thinking, I can't do founder-led marketing. I don't have a creative muscle in my body. Just start. Start posting every day. Let the content be crap and just continue with it. Be consistent, and that's what will get you the hits. Like consistency over time. So that's what I advise any any startup, any founder, go for it. Just start posting.
Yeah, I think that's the way, especially with how much noise there is in the tech landscape with just everything and anything. If you can put a face behind a brand, you can get that going. I think it's a great trust mechanism to build out.
100%, yeah. Nobody wants to see a brand logo. They all want to see the face behind it.
Yeah, bingo. And Jordan, in terms of your content, I'll be sure to tag your LinkedIn and Public AI's website down in the description. But is there anywhere else you'd like people to connect with you guys on?
That's pretty much it. If you search for Public AI on any of the networks, we're blasting out content all over the place. But LinkedIn and Twitter are our biggest communities. And then if you're interested in joining as a contributor, if it sounds exciting to you to join the human layer of AI, and we need experts across all kinds of different areas of like interests and all that. So Telegram and Discord are the best places to kind of like plug into the community, hear about what's going on. And then from a business perspective, if you're trying to run campaigns with us, learn about that, LinkedIn and Twitter are the best.
Yeah, perfect. I'll get all those links and I'll tag it down in the description. But for everybody that's tuned in, we appreciate you giving us your time, giving us your attention. And Jordan, one last thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much, Oliver. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, been a pleasure for sure. Have a good one.
You too.